Here's the only thing kind of I know from at least today. Stephen Miller only eats mayonnaise. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the
Back, baby.
of the Blue Sedition podcast. I know you guys have missed us, all of you. I'm Nate Brady, alongside
I'm Mike Smith, everybody.
my beautiful co-host Mike Smith. We've been on hiatus for a couple weeks. We needed to get away from it all, even though we didn't really do a great job of getting away from it all, did we?
We just put a little more American distance between us and the problems.
Yeah.
And that solved everything for a short time, but now we're back.
Now we're back. And things, as it turns out, are worse than ever. So that's good. Sorry. Where do we start? I mean, you're gonna be the guy today. You're gonna be the guy that drives this thing, because I have to tell you, I don't want to know what's going on, and I've been trying my best.
Yeah.
Basically,
so while I was out, I didn't look at Blue Sky at all.
Okay.
That's my only social media. I didn't look at
Right.
it. I refused. I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspapers. So I was blissfully ignorant to everything going on.
Okay.
But now I'm back, and I'm going to make you suffer.
Okay, because here's what I know. Here's the only thing kind of I know from at least today. Stephen Miller only eats mayonnaise.
I saw that.
That's
I was like, is that why he has that droopy complexion where he looks like
It's-
kind of a white nationalist droopy dog? You know what
Look,
I mean?
as far as bald white guys go. It's hard for us to kind of to be out there and be seen as good people generally, and I don't feel like I have a good representative for bald white guys.
Okay,
Look, you can see I kind of do this myself. But I put this on myself.
Yeah.
However, Stephen Miller really takes it to it's like if those little mustaches were ever cool, Hitler ruined them, right?
Right.
So
Charlie Chaplin's pissed because of it. Sure.
Right. So the Stephen Miller look, it's really killing it for what's supposed to be, right, the greatest race on earth, so he thinks. It's not a good look.
Why do the people who espouse that they're the greatest race on earth always look like Stephen Miller? Like they're
Worse.
not.
They're like
just
Steve
not
Bannon. They look like
attractive. Exactly.
I mean, he's
Bannon's
got
a great example.
he's got like boils and every disease growing on the surface of his face, and you're like, how? This is it's you. You're the guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they talk like RFK. Like, we are the greatest generation that ever existed. Just like, how can anyone take this seriously?
Can we? Okay, before we start, did you see the story? You might have been away while this was going on. Did you see the story that RFK is heading research on basically putting all the vaccines into one mega vaccine?
No, I had not read that.
So
Now, hold on. Because I haven't read that, I'm going to play the advocate first.
Okay.
Because there are examples of medications that have been combined for
sure.
and have had success. The Tdap comes to mind because we both have kids. We've had to get that whether they were growing up. And I think that the flu vaccination is usually like a several influenza strain vaccinations
No,
for the
they have
season.
to.
And
Oh, that one is crazy because they have to basically predict.
you have to jump out ahead of it.
Yeah.
Right. So they usually screen you for like 7
Yeah.
or 8 that are predicted. So I mean, there is some precedent for combinatoric vaccination techniques.
Anyway, at the same time that he did that, he was like, also let's cancel 22 grants and contracts worth about $500 million for research and development for mRNA vaccines. Dude, what a fuck that. I mean, and there's such great work coming out of mRNA research. We're seeing possibilities of a literal cancer vaccine.
We've talked about it on the pod before. So
I
mRNA
mean,
is one of those technologies technologies, one of those science applications that really feels like we're at the outset of determining how big it can be, but it feels like it's going to be monumental if given enough, access and funding to research it.
It looks it looks incredible.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine who's in immunology as a researcher, as a scientist who works with the tobacco plants and like does, immunization research basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that the turnaround time on traditional vaccinations that he's working on versus mRNA vaccinations in terms of like getting them like to the approval process and proved that they can do what they do is like night and day. He's like, I spend 9 months trying to do something with this. And he's like, mRNA, they can get done in like, a month or a week or something like that.
It's
like, it seems like a miracle drug, but for some reason, all these guys don't want to use it.
Listen, I think that the greatest thing to come out of the Trump administration, if you had to save human civilization, and you to pick one thing that came out of Trump 1, is the Operation Warp Speed, right?
When we were in COVID lockdowns and stuff, and they're like, we need a vaccination right now.
Right. And that was it. That was the thing. Anyway, I want to get to our main story today, which is Taylor Swift has announced her new album. It's set to drop in about 30 minutes. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna watch this countdown clock, and we're gonna. I tricked you, Mike, into coming onto the show. We're gonna.
It's funny. My wife and I, and my son actually, we were sitting on the couch watching a baseball game, and I had my phone up, and I was watching the first countdown to the announcement because it was going to be done 12/12, August 12th. Mm-hmm. So midnight plus 12 Eastern time. So it's like 9 o'clock our time in LA. I'm sitting there just going, show me the album. Just show it to me. I just want to see it.
Now you just want to see it, right? So we're gonna stream the whole thing. We're gonna listen to it live. Give you some no. All right, sorry everyone.
We'll get copyright takedown immediately.
This won't work. And she is, listen, I'm sorry for all you Swifties out there. I'm a Swiftie. I went to see her on the tour before the Eras tour. I forget.
Right.
I got to see her and SOMGS, Selena Gomez. No, listen, great, fantastic show. She puts on a great show, but she will tear your motherfucking Etsy shop down if you even mention her name.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
She
puts so much money. I'm not surprised that she doesn't have 40,000 people on retainer to just like troll all the sites for anything related to her that are unlicensed.
She is violent, and I have mixed feelings about it because on the one hand, I think copyright law is just out of hand in the United States, but then on the other hand, as an artist wanting to protect your work and your brand, I get it. So
she's her brand, right? So it's like I kind of get that. It's interesting, and we didn't plan for any of this, but I like riffing a little bit. I've been seeing a lot more AI slop, I like to call it, on AI slop. On the internet, basically.
Right.
And it reminded me of that thing that Trump did where he posted this video of Obama being in the White House with him for some reason, and then he gets arrested.
In handcuffs. Yeah. Or the stupid AI Gaza, Trump Gaza hotel.
Right. I was thinking more of the Obama thing because we were talking about Taylor Swift and herself being her brand. And I've been seeing a lot more of these celebrity AI things. I think the one that comes to mind that I saw probably over lunch today was I think it was an Instagram post that was basically just the actors of House, the TV show, from season 1, and it did AI things to make them move a little bit, and then it did a glow up into their current state, so it showed you
I've seen it.
And I'm like, at some point, you're making money off of their likeness and basically nothing else, right?
Right.
So there's got to be some line there where, especially for actors, but also for most performers, where your brand is who you are and your face and your voice in a lot of cases. I think of Alan Tudyk. He does all of these Disney voices and things, but his voice is his brand. So I know he's great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, at some point, they're going to try and like force this AI slop on everybody, and they're going
Right.
to try and replace these actors. And I'm like, there's going to be lawsuits, I feel.
You know, and one of the things that I think the scariest thing in all of this is that it's getting really good. It's getting to the point
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
you know, we went from right, we went from this you know, we went from this. Remember Will Smith eating
Oh,
spaghetti.
man. That looks great. I mean, that's clearly Will Smith.
Yeah, it
Taken
clearly
with,
Will
like,
Smith. We went from
with
this to,
what appears to be 2 plates of spaghetti with a bowl of spaghetti in between them.
in between them, and he bent the spoon.
And he bent it. Well, I mean, yeah.
When you're digging that hard into the spaghetti, who can blame you? Sorry, let me go back to the countdown. This is the countdown to when we'll actually get to our first topic today, I guess.
Yeah, good.
Minutes remaining. But
No,
yeah,
no, so like, go ahead.
yeah, it's getting so good that there is a worry that somebody like a President Trump is going to post a video of Obama doing or saying something or something happening to him that 800 million people are going to see and believe.
Yeah, yeah, that's the real scary part, I think.
It's going to be frightening. I think the next presidential election, think of how far we've come in AI in just the last, you know,
2 years.
2 years. I think the next presidential election is going to be literally insane.
Especially if we're going to have candidates with the sense of lack of scruples that we've seen with Trump and the modern GOP. I don't really see them doing anything except blatantly lying. Like, you could imagine it, even in the last election, if they had these sorts of tools at their disposal, you would see regular commercials on television, I'm certain, of just having Kamala Harris saying nonsense to further their message. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be like, Kamala Harris believes in X, Y, and Z, and you know, drum up votes for that. But then it's another thing entirely to just have your AI produce a video of Kamala Harris saying X, Y, Z, and you're like, look at her, she's saying the thing. You know what I mean?
I think
she's anti-Israel or she's pro-trans or whatever.
I think that, yes. The problem is Trump won on that playbook of saying whatever the hell I want.
He sure did. All I'm saying is that before, you had to take him at his word, essentially, that he was telling you the truth about what she did and said. And of course they didn't care, but you'll sway many more people who didn't vote,
right,
or who voted otherwise, with an actual video of a person, and they can't tell the difference.
I mean, that's all Twitter is right now. That's all the Nazi.
It's all AI.
It's all AI. It's all look what Kamala Harris did, and it's her, you know, giving the same Nazi salute that Elon gave her. It's bullshit like that, but it's literally every cat turd, every one of those major accounts is just sharing this AI generated propaganda and calling it real. And
so, going back to it, what I was saying before about like the celebrity likenesses and things like that, like, it is very clear to me, even with the way that things have progressed today, that this is AI. Like, I look at it and I instinctively go, that's AI. There's no doubt in my mind. And I think it's very easy to spot for me, but I have a very critical eye of things. And you're the same way, where you just look at it and you go, who would believe this is real? But people who are just, you know, doom scrolling are going to maybe not have such a critical eye, and maybe they'll just go, wow, and then move on. And then it's in the back of their head that you know, that she did that or whatever.
There's an innate soullessness to a lot of the images and videos that are generated with AI,
right?
And dialogue and whatever, and chat. Like, we can spot, even without like the glaring clues like the 7 fingers or whatever, we can still spot things that are AI. But I think the thing that I'm scared about is that I think in less than a year we won't be able to tell the difference. Like,
you don't think so?
No, I think it'll get better at, I think one of the things that they're trying to do, right, is make it get better at those little tiny social cues that happen that give the watcher, the viewer, the sense of reality in the image or in the video. And I think that's coming. It's the voice. what is it, 11 Labs, and heck, even ChatGPT, and others that are doing advanced voice mode. If you listen now to the conversations that you have
Oh,
in
audio
advanced
tricks.
voice,
Yeah, like
yeah,
you and I do it all the time where you say something and you have just a little micro pause where you go,
right,
and then you it makes it sound more natural.
right.
And I agree that the voice things have come a very
But I
long
think
way.
that's coming in. I think
You think
they're.
it's coming in video?
I
I
think
mean, it
it's
has
coming to
to
video.
be. What else are they sinking all that
What
money for, right?
right? What else would you be doing? Because they want to be able to do, full scale movies with this stuff,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
not going to buy that software unless the characters you create are realistic.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm really, I find it, I'm on two sides of the fence, right? Because I'm a fence sitter. Uh, it's really interesting. Like from a technical aspect, I find all this stuff just deeply interesting, and I feel like they've been slowly chugging through the uncanny valley for a long time, but I still feel like we're in it. And I agree,
We are in
maybe
it.
they'll come out the other edge, but
I think they're
but
going
it's
to
been
bust through. I think they're
okay.
going to bust through. A bit to your point before, though, it's already fooling enough people where it's a problem.
Yeah,
You know,
no, I know.
I mean, it's
I,
it's scamming it's scamming spouses into sending money to people that they shouldn't be sending money to.
right, right,
With fake phone calls and things like that. So, if you're tricking somebody that you literally spend your entire life with,
right,
that's already a major issue, and it's just going to get better.
right. That's true. And people are
So,
lazy inherently. I mean, that's why phishing attacks work or spear phishing attacks work, is because it has the sense of plausibility on first blush that you're just like, and then you go and do whatever it is, and then you think about it for 1 second, and you're like, well, now wait a minute.
we work with literal, and we can be considered for some of the certifications and things that we have, security experts that
Yeah,
still get very close to being tricked with like I almost clicked that link in that email, and then this one little thing made me go, wait a minute.
yeah.
And that's where AI is headed. To that one little thing is going to disappear.
And
And
to your point, enough people are already missing that wait a minute
yeah,
moment.
yeah.
So it's like
I mean,
if it
that's
gets
why,
better, it's just going to make more people fall for it.
right. That's why those call center, scams it's a multi-billion-dollar business because people
Oh
fall
yeah.
for it.
Oh yeah.
And with AI, dude, the emails have gotten. It's no longer a Persian prince with all kinds of misspellings. I mean, it's a very very believable email from my boss, your boss, whoever.
Who has
That's
better grammar and spelling than you.
right, exactly. Where you're like, oh, this is okay. This is legit. So that first clue is gone now. Now you have to
Yeah.
look for all those other clues. Okay, well, it's PayPal with a fucking 4 instead of, an
Right.
A, so
Yeah.
anyway, let's get to some stuff that's been happening this week. So first I'll pull up this, Mike, and I'll let you kind of intro
Okay.
into what's going on here.
All right. Do you
Big
remember?
sigh.
Yeah, big side. Do you remember in our last episode, we discussed Trump deploying the National Guard in Los Angeles.
Right.
And the protests that were going on at the time. And well, that largely didn't work. Obviously, states have more rights than that. Obviously the president's not supposed to use any of the military or the National Guard for police work, ostensibly. I forget what that's called, municipal policing.
Yeah, local law enforcement, basically.
Local law enforcement. Yeah.
Right.
So the president said, well, that didn't work against one of the biggest states in the nation. What if I try it against a not state in the nation? And so he's doing it again. He declared a crime emergency, hilarious phrase, in the District of Columbia, so Washington, D.C., and he's vowed to deploy, I don't know if he's done it yet, but I think maybe he's just penned it, the National Guard to help police and solve the homeless problem and some other things in Washington, D.C. So that's pretty bad because Washington, D.C. doesn't have they're not a state, and they do have a mayor, but basically the president is the governor of DC in the same sense. So he is allowed to deploy National Guard for that. He does have to declare an emergency. This is what he had to do, but people are out there just working their day-to-day lives and living their lives, and they don't actually think that there's an emergency out there. In fact, just today, the Legal Eagle he was live on the ground in DC just filming himself. He's like, look at all this lawlessness, and it's like mothers pushing strollers with babies in there.
And of course, as we all understood going up to this, very strange because crime in DC was actually at an all-time low.
Yeah.
So the one
and it's
counter,
been falling
right,
historically.
And the one counter I wanted somebody to ask, I wanted a reporter to ask was, wait, so you mean to tell me that since you've taken over in DC that crime is up and now we need the National Guard? But no, the reality is Big Balls goes out and gets his ass kicked by a bunch of teenagers or whatever. And suddenly we're calling in the National Guard. Right?
For Big Balls. Oh, okay.
I mean, it was obviously just one of the many excuses that Trump used to just spread his authoritarian overreach, and that's all this is, right? He wanted to see what he could get away with in LA. He didn't get away with as much as he had hoped.
Basically got away with nothing in LA.
I mean,
we'll move on to that in a moment, but he didn't get anything that he wanted out of LA other than making headlines about, with his ilk, about how LA is unsafe and, dangerous and violent and all this other stuff that LA is just simply not.
Yeah.
Again, for listeners, I live in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is fine. Come and visit us. It's fine.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine.
If you're a baby or you're Stephen Miller, don't visit LA.
Don't visit LA. If you're JD Vance, who for some reason only vacations,
getting booed there.
Yeah, for some reason he only vacations in blue states. He's looking forward to going to Hawaii. He's he was just in California, right, at Disneyland.
Yeah, he went to Disneyland.
He I don't know.
Why not go to Disney World? Go to your people.
Isn't that
you won't get booed there?
Yeah.
Does he just have like a fetish for being humiliated and yelled at? Is he one of those guys?
I don't know. It's possible that he is. But so I want to point out some things here for listeners that may not really understand how ridiculous this is. It is one thing to call in the National Guard to help sweep out those ghettos, which is a thing that it's a Saturday Night Live phrase that always comes into my mind when I hear Trump doing shit like this. But it's one thing to deploy 800 National Guard troops to start patrolling through the streets of Washington, D.C. and have really no clue what the fuck they're doing and have people laughing and pointing fingers at them. But
that's the other thing. They're not trained to do any of that.
They're not trained in any of this, right? But the people who are trained in this is the other really unusual, highly controversial move that Trump took, was taking over direct federal control of the DC police. So that's the thing that people should be even more concerned about. Not that the guy called in the National Guard and he didn't when the Capitol building was getting overrun.
But when there was a treason in it happening.
Right, but he called when Big Balls got hurt. That's concerning, but I think the really concerning thing is taking over direct federal control of the DC police force.
I'll need to check this. This is something that I think is true as of my reading as of a few hours ago. But I believe he wanted to take over DC, but I believe that DC is still their police force is still under their own jurisdiction and control. But they're receiving orders from up above, and maybe will follow along with it. But I don't think that they're like forced to play along. That was the last thing I heard about it, but I could be wrong about that.
Okay. I mean,
Splitting hairs there, but
I think we're splitting hairs, but according to the AP, he has at least begun the takeover with
okay.
whatever that means as of August 12th at 6:13 p.m.
Oh, that
Maybe.
was literally 40 minutes ago. Okay, never mind.
Oh no, I said August 12th, but
Oh,
yeah,
12th? Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
well,
So I don't know. I don't know if it's the fact is that he's trying. He's got his hands in everything. He's
yeah.
deployed the National Guard. He is seeing again what he can get away with, and he's getting it's harder to push back in DC than it was in LA, and that's why he's doing it.
So let me ask you this, Nate.
Okay. All right.
What's the end game here? You take over DC. Next step,
Well,
go.
okay. So I'm going to preface this by taking a quick sidestep and
Okay.
talking about Trump firing the head of the National Labor Statistics, right? The one
Yep.
that comes out and says, "Hey, here's what the unemployment numbers are," because he didn't like the unemployment numbers, right?
Right.
So
Right.
he hired a guy who uses whose background is Hitler's favorite ship, who is willing to fudge the numbers to whatever he likes so that the propaganda machine runs nice and smooth and Trump can
Right.
say, look, everything's going great. So the sidestep of that is to say the next crime report that comes out is going to show that whatever he's doing in DC is working dramatically. And it means that the Fed, and I don't mean the banks, I mean, the White House and the US government should take over more control of local police. So I think that what he's doing here, the end game is to spread, just like everything he does,
So you
is
think
to
this
spread
is
his
his
authoritarian reach.
okay? So this is his trial run at
Right.
trying to take over important cities.
What else would it be? I mean, why else would you do
I don't
this?
know. That's what I'm saying is I don't see a clear path to victory on anything, and I listen to what you're saying here, and I see that. But okay, you've taken over municipal policing for large cities. Let's say you do get New York and Los Angeles and Houston and whatever. What then? Why do we care?
Yeah, I mean,
You're just going to start lining people up and hanging them from the rafters? Probably not. I mean, what is
listen,
the end game?
listen, isn't that what it is? It's about fear, power, control, right?
Okay.
So if there's police all over the place, okay,
Right.
and those police are loyal to the supreme leader of the United States, you
Yeah.
think you're gonna go out with your Pete Buttigieg sign? You think you're gonna be knocking on doors, canvassing for Gavin Newsom? It's a way to maintain power and control. That's all it is.
Okay. But I mean, I don't really see that working in practice. I do think that you're going to see people carrying Pete Buttigieg signs and knocking on doors for Newsom. I don't really think that they'd be stretched too thin. They would need enough people on the ground because you saw it even the other day. I'm going to bring it up, and I hope you have it handy because I certainly didn't put it in the notes.
Oh, here we go.
What? But you got the guy who threw the sandwich at the FBI agent. And I'm just like, you're going to have that across the country. How are you going to police every little nuisance person who does that while you also have this secret job of stopping people from canvassing and going out knocking doors for the next presidential candidate or the midterm, representative senators candidacies? I don't know.
And you understand that guy, that man has been charged with assaulting a federal officer.
Yes, his words. I read it. It's going to be big.
So, but the point being, what now?
But there are always going to be people who do that.
Sure, until you control the entire judicial branch and people are getting life sentences for keying a Tesla. It's funny. I understand. Like, it's funny to think about. But you have to realize this is actually affecting people. This will affect people in DC. This will
I'm not
affect.
saying it's not going to affect people. To be completely clear here, I'm just saying like I don't see it moving the needle enough in terms of control for them to gain anything meaningfully from it. Now, having
I
said that, I see a different end game in
okay,
mind
okay,
that may be crazier than your end game.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Um, during elections, you have to have the House and the Senate convene with members to come and you know count the votes ostensibly, the electoral college, and put them in place. Well, now if you're controlling all the DC,
You're getting to the same end game though,
now
right?
I believe it. Like, oh, we had to detain this guy because Senator who's it's because whatever. Oh, it turns out he's got 40 grams of not meth. What's the drug that they hate?
Fentanyl. But
Fentanyl, yeah, exactly. And so we had to lock him up, and he can't make this vote because
but
he's been
you're getting yes, I think we see though the same end game, which is retain power. My thing is I don't think if I'm just thinking that this is what's Donald Trump's end game, then yeah. I mean, Donald Trump's a fucking idiot. Like he didn't, this isn't him coming up with
right,
all of this. But this is Stephen Miller and people who are unfortunately smarter and more conniving and coordinated than Donald Trump is. And I think it's not just this. I think it's what you're seeing in Texas with redistricting.
right, yeah,
I think you're going to start to see all of these tiny things that are popping up that is about spreading the authoritarian reach of the president. And it's more than just we'll fix the voting at in DC. It's fixing the voting everywhere. It's making people more scared to throw a banana at an FBI agent when we should be throwing bananas and laughing at these people. It's going to make people more scared to post pictures of ICE agents. It's things like that eventually lead to one vote, one person not voting, 10 people not voting, 100,000 people's votes not counting, that kind of stuff. And then suddenly you have a third Trump term. Now, I don't think Trump's going to make it.
You think he's going to, oh, you mean health-wise. You don't think he's going to bungle it to the point.
Yeah, I don't think Trump's going to make 2028. I mean, if I were a betting guy, I would say, but they're setting up for their party, their America First, basically neo-Nazi party to regain control, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Yikes!
That's what I mean. I'm sorry, but like, how can you not look at where we were 8 years ago and see the trajectory that we're on and think that this is basically the worst of it? I mean, I couldn't have imagined this 8 years ago, everything that's going on right now, just like kind of you couldn't imagine what AI is doing. And I think we're the trajectory that we're on right now, if nobody stops this from happening, is unimaginable. So,
well, it's imaginable. We just don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I got sidetracked. I
hate it. What is Ken Paxton doing in Texas?
You want to talk about what Ken Paxton's doing?
You brought it up. I think it's important to talk about.
All right. Let me pull that up because I do know that we wanted to talk about what we're doing to stop Trump in some places like LA.
Okay,
but let's start here. Let's start with Ken.
Let's cover Paxton really quick, and then we'll come back to that.
Okay, so what's going on here?
Well, Ken Paxton. Okay, so there's a legislative body in Texas, as with most states, they're going to be state representatives, and they're the same sort of idea as representatives at the federal level. They're elected representation for various districts in your state. And then they make choices that affect all of Texas. Texas, after redrawing the map, their electoral map, a few years ago, I want to say, maybe it was even less than that, were given an order from Daddy that a new map needed to be drawn because he's afraid of losing the House of Representatives in 2020, 6.
Right. This is a mid-decade redistricting, which is, I guess they do it every decade. So this is not a normal thing, right?
Right.
Okay.
It shouldn't have been done. It should not
Okay.
be done. And the Republicans tried to pass the new map basically in the middle of the night so that they couldn't vote. They had to vote on it. They couldn't debate it, and the public wouldn't know about it. And they had the enough votes to pass it. However, Texas has an interesting rule, and it's important that we note that it's a rule and not a law, a rule at the legislature that they must have a quorum, which means that they must have half plus one people present to make any vote. The Democrats, basically not being able to do that, jumped ship and left town. Maybe the quorum is actually 66%, because otherwise, why would they leave?
Right.
And so all the Democrats, instead of showing up to vote, left town. They fled to Los Angeles and Illinois and maybe New York. It's hard to remember exactly which Democrat states they fled to, but they basically said, can't vote if we're not there. It's in the Texas Constitution. Good luck. And they basically forced their hand. So Ken Paxton had sued. He's suing all of these states, but notably California, and Illinois, to try and what's even the word, Nate? He's trying to get them to deport these Texas Republicans.
Literally deport.
Is that the word?
I mean,
what is it called when somebody commits a crime and then they flee overseas and you ask them to come back?
Extradite.
Extradite. He's asking these states to extradite these, legally appointed representatives of Texas state back to Texas. And first of all, I mean, California's response was just hilarious. They were just like, what? No, get out of here. And then they dismissed it. They're just like, no. But Illinois allowed the suit to continue. And then today, a judge was like, well, no, you're an idiot.
Yeah. And thank goodness. So I want to give an update for people who have been following it and got a little nervous today or yesterday when they saw that it had passed. It passed the Senate in Texas. So in order for it to become law, it has to pass the House in Texas. And these are basically House Democrats in Texas that are still absent from the state. So they are still in a standoff until those Democrats decide to show back up. And I think there is some deadlines, right? So they're trying to stay past. They're trying to stay away past this deadline.
Okay.
I forget. I don't have it in front of me.
You know how the legislatures are
at
local, state, and federal levels. They basically work 2 months a year and then they have vacation. So there's going to be some deadline where they all agreed, this is the end of our legislative work, and now we party, and then they go off and do whatever they want. So I'm guessing that's the deadline, but I'm not really.
Yeah. So what I see here at least is it's not really a deadline, like a fixed statutory deadline, but that they are having a special session to address the redistricting, and it's scheduled to end on the 19th. So they can extend it if they want, but it's scheduled to be like, all right, we couldn't get it passed on the 19th, where the Speaker of the House in Texas has set a deadline for Democrats to return by this Friday. Of course, what does that mean? I don't care about your fucking deadline.
Yeah.
And of course,
sounds like you've got a deadline.
Yeah. And, of course, Republicans are very excited about this because it's set to
gives them 5 more seats.
Gives them 5 more seats, but shuts down people like Jasmine Crockett, right? Because that means her district would be affected by this.
Right. Her district gets split into 2 other Republicans.
Right.
So you're like, that's not how this should work at all.
That ain't it. And of course, now we've seen Gavin Newsom and other governors of large states say, well, you don't want to do this. You don't want to tango with us because, well, we'll offset you and then pick up more. And
that's I have to harp on that for 1 second. So California, how many reps does California have, Nate? You're going to be my stats guy, but I just want to point out that California is, one of the largest states in the nation, and we don't really gerrymander our maps very hard, except for like the coast cities around Southern California. But once they go inland, we're just like, yeah, you got Redlands, you've got the Riverside, you got blah, blah, blah. And we just sort of ignore those.
Well,
but you could really easily break those up to be, instead of like 12 red districts, it's 9 blue districts and 3 red districts.
So what's
they
hilarious,
just haven't done it because that's sort of the nuclear option.
Right. And what's really funny is the only reason to ever look briefly at the Nazi site is to watch those people arguing with Grok. Because when Grok shares information with them that they don't like because it's an AI, it aggregates information and it gives factual information based on its sources. And then I watch them in just a thread arguing back and forth with a robot. It's hilarious. But one of the things that was great was I saw a user, a blue check, lot of follower user say, well, is California districts even fair? And then Grok was like, actually, California is one of the fairest districts in the state, in the country. By doing this, this, and this, California regularly draws lines that are fair to blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and of course he argued for like.
Then you added Elon and you said, Grok's being woke again.
Yeah, Daddy, fix this. And then it started spewing, calling itself Mecha Hitler again. But
you can tell by the last name of Brady that this man is.
It is hilarious to watch these guys argue with the AI robot, especially when it's giving them just factual information.
That's the problem again, and we said this in the last episode, but we live in a post-fact society, and for some people, their brains can't handle that. There's the one side of people like us, where I state a fact to somebody, and they go, "Well, that's not true," and you go, "I don't need to talk to that person anymore," and you live your life. But then there are people who live in that bubble of like, you told me a fact, and I'm not an expert on that, and I don't believe you. And I'm like,
I had something that happened the other day. I'm going to be a little bit vague about it. Maybe maybe I won't be vague about it. I play poker. I mentioned on the Blue Sky. About that. I like to play a lot. I like to play a lot of poker. That's what I first did when I came to California. My poor way of contributing to society. And so I'm playing at a home game, and the dealer does something wrong, right? And I go, hey, as somebody who used to work in the casinos, etc., I said, hey, that's not how you're supposed to do that. So the person who was running the home game, this is a no rake home game, nothing illegal going on here, no drugs or anything like that. Okay, guys, It's all on the up and up. Don't come after us. The person who had invited everybody over says, well, what's the right way to do it? And I said, well, here's the right way, and here's the information that backs it. And they look at it, they read it, they listen, they understand the argument, and they go, well, we're going to keep doing it our way. And I go, okay. So, and this is what we're dealing with when somebody says, when these people who we're arguing with go, give me the facts. And we go, you're like, you don't have any facts. And I go, actually, here's 415 studies, and there's literally, I can't find one source that says what you're saying, but here's the facts. And they go, well, I don't believe it. I'm just gonna
fake news.
Yeah, fake news. I'm just gonna live my own way. And then you go, all right, forget it then. I don't need you in my life. But that's literally what we're dealing with, and that's all that X is right now. And that's why it's hilarious to see Grok. Literally all it's doing, I think the majority of the resources, the CPU usage that comes out of Grok is fighting with, it used to be us, right?
It used to be us, yeah.
It used to be me, you, and several other left-leaning people on Twitter arguing with these people, and now they're just arguing with Grok. And it is kind of funny to watch.
We don't like to laugh at them very much.
I'm just saying. So what else we got? Oh, can I share something? You
gotta share it?
Just because I got a notification on the repost of this that said Jesus fucking Christ. I want to share that the Trump administration is trying to replace PBS with Prager University.
No,
they're not. They are. And this is from Brian Tyler Cohen. There's reputable sources that, and this is obviously a Stephen Miller thing. They are trying to make Prager University, as you already know, they've got like special press passes now. They're trying to put it into the curriculum of they're trying to get it in the schools, they're trying to get it into the education system, they're trying to get it into public broadcasting. I just want to play this clip. This is just insane. So here's the Tennessee Holler. By the way, if you don't follow the Tennessee Holler, please do. It's a lot of local Tennessee news, but it's also a lot of national news, and they do a fantastic job.
Right.
We get a lot of our national news from them. But here's an example of a clip that would become part of public broadcasting, assuming Prager University becomes a part of it, right?
Slavery is as old as time and has taken place in every corner of the world, even amongst the people I just left. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? Before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal? Slavery is as old as time.
Heaven.
What the fuck? So that's what we're dealing with.
Okay, a couple moral quandaries from me here, if you don't mind.
Did you think about it?
Slavery's better than being murdered, right? Better than being killed?
Probably not for a lot of people.
One of them you're alive, right?
And it's worse. And that's why a lot of slaves took the other option.
So,
but anyway.
What if I'm a slave and I kill my enslaver, though? Like, where does that fall on the whole? Who's worse, me or my enslaver?
That wasn't covered in the video.
Darn.
Yeah, I don't know if I can help you there. No, I'm sorry, that wasn't.
A lot of this stuff doesn't hold up to any reason. Oh, good. Now we're speaking of reason. Here he is, JFK or RFK Jr.'s here.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I just wanted to point out where they're like, he's like, slavery was okay in a lot of different, like,
no big deal.
I don't give a shit anymore. Slavery's bad now, and we should teach that. And he's like, no.
Instead, ask yourself, wasn't it no big deal? Fucking hell. RFK Jr. learns he is not also Denmark's HHS secretary. Did you know that?
That's a headline. I love it.
What happened here?
RFK Jr. is on a tour where he goes to places and he speaks to people and he just puts his foot in his mouth, which honestly sounds better than his regular voice, which is nice.
That's fair.
I can't help it. I think his voice is somehow just stuck in my brain, and I just can't get rid of it. It keeps me up at night. Anyway, so he wanted this report. He publishes in an op-ed earlier in the month where he demanded the retraction of a study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine.
And it was a Danish vaccine study.
It was a Danish vaccine study, and he basically calls it a bunch of hogwash. He doesn't back that up with anything. He just says that it's propaganda, but it's a stunt by the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just nonsense. And so he demanded that they take it down. And it turns out that Denmark doesn't have to listen to him and his weird voice.
So they didn't comply.
Didn't comply.
Wow.
I love it.
I love that.
Great.
I love that for them. It sounds like Denmark just continues to follow its own vaccine policies, which are currently better than ours.
We are getting to the point where you may need. Do you remember what did we call it? Oh my God. I feel like this was like 90s and 2000s era, but people would take vacations to foreign countries to get their medical care taken care of. There was like a term for that, but I don't remember what it was, like a medi-vacation or something. I don't remember. But I think we're getting back to that, where people are going to be like, I don't want the medicine here. I'm going to go to the place where they believe in science.
All right.
No? Yes.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I would like him to disappear. Legally. I mean,
I just want him to go away. I liked him better when he wasn't in the spotlight. But I feel that way about a lot of the people.
I want to
that-
be who I was before I heard him speak for the first time.
I want to be that person again.
I
I
want
want
to
to be able
that.
to sleep at night without my sleep paralysis demon sitting over me with speaking in his voice.
Right. I would love that. Oh, I would love that.
Oh, that would just be great.
What else we got today? Is there anything else we want to cover before we let these poor souls go?
I think the only thing is maybe a scam. Do you want to do a scam?
Yeah, let's do a scam.
Let's do a scam.
Okay, I'm ready to do a scam. I think
ready
you're
to do a
talking about.
scam?
Are you talking about the ice scam? Because I think that's pretty fun.
Talking about an ice scam, baby. You want to do
Okay,
an
all
ice
right.
scam?
I'm going to sadly share a Fox News story here. But over 100,000 Americans rushed to join Trump's massive ICE hiring spree nationwide. But
Okay,
then,
so far bad.
okay,
Not good.
so far not good. But then,
However,
what's
upside?
happening?
The upside is that apparently they are in such need of applicants that they're willing to give a signing bonus of up to $50,000 to entrants who make it through and become ICE agents. Now, I haven't seen the contents of a contract for working for us. However, the scam works like this: you sign up, get your 50 grand when you make it through the physical, and you can, waddle downhill and all that. Then you quit. Easy 50K.
I mean, okay, so I'm going to push back a little bit on this because from what I understand from Reddit and other places is that the hiring process is actually a lot more rigorous than, hey, I signed up, I answered some questions, and then I got my money. So first of all, if you're out there thinking of doing this, go for it, as long as you don't actually join ICE or
Get that bag.
Get that bag. But also the idea that anybody from the United States government under Trump's government is going to give me money for any reason when they say they're going to give me money, very hard to believe.
Sure.
I mean, very hard to believe I would ever actually see this 50K bonus. But the hiring process, it's got to involve background checks,
I can pass a background check.
Well, sure. But I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot more to this. Background checks, interviews. I don't know if they do polygraphs. I've seen some people say that they do polygraphs.
But you and I, we can pass a polygraph test. That's not really the problem.
I'm just saying a lot of people don't want to be in the position of, how do you feel about the United States of America right now? Or something like that,
Could lie through my teeth for that.
I'm just,
50 grand's not nothing, man. I'm just saying.
So I understand.
Don't scam the government. We are not giving advice to scam the government.
Yeah.
Instead, you should like and subscribe. Leave a comment.
Do that instead. You're not going to get 50 grand for it. But neither are we.
I will reply to your comment with the dollar amount of $50,000. That's it.
I love those scams on like Instagram and TikTok where somebody is like selling their course for like how to be whatever, the best affiliate marketer or the best, whatever. And they're like, if you want my free guide, just comment guide below. And then there's 450,000 people that comment guide, and then the response is sent you a DM. Fucking what a time we live in. So anyway, comment guide in our if you want a guide on how to, I don't know, what are we good at? Are we good at anything?
Ranting about politics
and
occasionally some tech stuff.
Yeah. So if you want a guide on tech and AI and politics stuff, comment guide below. But also like and subscribe. And get that bag if you can legally.
Consult a lawyer if you're confused.
Consult a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. Get that bag though, I guess. Mike, anything else you want to say today?
I'm happy to be back.
I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad you all spent some time with us today.
I think this is episode 59 of the Blue Sedition. I mean 49 of the Blue Sedition podcast. So our next episode will be the big 5-0. Do we have anything special planned?
Maybe a live. I don't know.
Maybe a live.
We'll talk
Maybe a
about it.
live one. That would be good. Yeah, let's do a live stream.
We'll kick it around and we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it. We'll do something. We'll do something for you guys. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, comment, guide, or whatever the hell you want below, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.